author and the link to the original poster down in the description. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepmom she's pathetic and doesn't get to boss my mom around? My parents divorced when I, a 15 male, was 5 and my sister was 3. For a while during and post-divorce my dad was trying really hard to win my mom back. I remember he would use my sisters and my upset about the divorce. For me it was hard to go from our family being together to 2 separate homes and families. For my sister, the upheaval was hard for her. She really couldn't get used to bouncing from home to home. Throughout all of that mom did her best to shield us, and even though she must have hated my dad's guts for all the stunts he pulled, she kept some photos of him and our family from before up in the house. My sister and I felt reassured seeing them. Even though she didn't remember those times, I think it made her feel a little more okay with how confusing it was, and Dad only made it worse. Dad gave up on them getting back together eventually, and he insisted that everything we had at his house be from him and not Mom, and we could not have photos of Mom in the home. I was 8 when he met my stepmom. I'm not sure how soon she found out that Mom still had photos up of before, but it became a huge deal for her, and she told my mom she was not allowed photos of her man in Mom's house. My mom remarried when I was 10. We have a few photos of my stepdad's ex-wife at home and some from when he was married to her and my step-siblings were young. This is especially important to them because their mom is terminally ill with a condition that made her unable to take care of them. I think it's something to do with her brain. There are still photos of Dad at Mom's too. I'm less into it now that I feel worse about what Dad did. But my sister still feels comforted by them, and Mom always says he is still our dad/our family, and she wants it to be as much our home as it is everyone else's who lives there. The wall where these photos are is where Mom takes a lot of our back-to-school photos. My stepmom found out they were still up and went nuts on my mom a few months ago. She told Mom she had to do what she says, etc. It was insane. My mom told her to mind her business, and if she stays out of her home she doesn't have to see or worry about them. My stepmom went on a rant about Mom a few days ago, and she was like, "How dare your mom not do what I tell her and take the photos of my husband down." I told my stepmom she's pathetic for being so bothered that Mom was a good enough mom to accept photos of Dad for our sake and that she doesn't get to boss my mom around. I also told her to leave my mom alone because none of this had anything to do with her. She told me I did not get to speak to her that way. I told her if she thinks she's earning my respect with her shit, then she's even more pathetic than I thought. It's been a rough few days. My dad and stepmom both say I was beyond disrespectful. Am I the a-hole? Now let's check out the comment section, as well as one reply from OP. Something tells me your dad is not the nicest person in the world, based on your post. Your mom clearly isn't interested in winning him back and just wanted to give you and your sister some comfort when you were younger. Just like having photos of your mom's husband's ex-wife makes your step-siblings feel better, especially given that their mom is terminal. Your mom sounds like a very secure and kind person who just wants the best for her bio and step-kids. Your stepmother, on the other hand, not the a-hole. He's not. He doesn't really seem to care about my sister or me either. Like he used my being upset about the divorce and encouraged me to tell Mom repeatedly when I was younger, and he'd encourage me to beg her to get back together with him. He discussed this stuff during their swap times, and looking back he was a huge dong. He'd also lie and say my sister ate way less than she did because she was so upset. My sister would eat way less for a couple of days after a swap, but he was acting like she was starved. I can see now how shitty he acted. Not the a-hole. What they mean by disrespectful is that instead of passively obeying them, you stood il for what you know is right. Good for you. Might consider having a one-on-one conversation with your dad about this and let him know if he hopes to maintain a relationship with you after you turn 18, he needs to get stepmom off your back. Not the a-hole. Your dad's wife has earned your disrespect. Respect is earned, and she earned the opposite. You are old enough to let your dad know that they can't keep acting like that, and still get invited to events. Like graduation, weddings, or any other one-time event. Your mom will be there, but they won't be if they can't be respectful of your mom. Those pictures are there for you and your sister. Not your mom. He is still your dad. That is your home. Yes, people who are divorced and have children, even if they remarry, can be civil to each other. They can even all be friends. I am old enough to be your father's mother. Stand your ground. Hugs from Grandma. Subscribe and click the bell button so that you'll be notified for possible update and for more stories. Feel free to check out the original post, and maybe even help OP by sharing some useful feedback or advice.